Welcome to Bootstrap Businessmen, the podcast focused on developing the entrepreneur within on a shoestring budget. And I am your host, #1 best-selling fitness author, Dale L. Roberts, and I'm joined by my co-host, the Midwest best, Kevin S. Allen.
Hey, man, how we doing tonight, Dale? How you feeling?
Fantastic, feeling great as usual, of course.
All right, man, same here. Hey, I just wanted to throw a little thing in here. Hey, everybody that's listening, please support the show by simply shopping at Amazon.com. We have a link provided in our show notes. All you got to do is bookmark that in your browser. Anytime you go to shop at Amazon, just click on that. Basically, a small percentage gets kicked back to us. Doesn't cost you any more money. That small percentage helps cover the cost of our show, and overhead. So if you want to keep hearing the awesome, great content and some of the great guests and stuff that we got coming to you, just go in, bookmark that, use that link.
Excellent. Yeah. And hey, remember, if you like the show, then show us some love. Click the follow button on our site at show.bootstrapbusinessmen.com, Stitcher, or iTunes. And the best part is you won't miss out on a single episode if you're following us. And should we decide to have a special pop-up show with exclusive time-sensitive promotions, then you'll know all about it.
Which we've had what, at least 3 or 4 probably over the last few weeks here. Yeah. Pop-up episodes. We're giving away a lot of great books, some audio books. Man, people got to follow.
That's absolutely true.
Language barrier.
All right, here we go. So today's special guest is going to be none other than, it's so great, John R. Gray, my boy. John, how you doing, buddy?
I'm excited. Thanks for having me, man. I'm happy to be here.
It's so great. You started asking a question right as I was going live. So fire away, dude. Don't be afraid to ask now.
I don't want to say anything that I'm not allowed, so I wasn't sure if I could cuss.
Oh, no, buddy. Go ahead and let her rip.
Yeah. Watch your fucking mouth, dude. Dude, think of it just like your own podcast. I want you to meet, Mi casa es su casa. You kind of told me the same thing when you interviewed me on your show, so I want you to kind of feel the same way. So today, it's really my privilege to share somebody, a really close and good friend of mine. We actually go back quite a few years, and actually towards the end of my pro wrestling career, if you would call it that, I met John in the locker room of Insanity Pro Wrestling, and it was the first time he and I met, and he comes up to me and he's very, very enthusiastic. He's very energetic, and that is on a bad day. So John came up, and the very first thing he says to me, Kevin, is, hey, I've got a show. It's called Real Side Wrestling. It's about, I interview wrestlers. We get on, and I just want you to be you. Can you do the show? And I'm like, I'm completely thrown off. I'm going, is this guy serious? Is he really real? I'm like, yeah, of course I do that. Yeah. I didn't really take you seriously, John. I never shared my insights on this. I'm thinking, yeah, whatever. He runs off, comes back with a planner. I'm like, oh, shit, this guy's fucking real. He sits down, he sends me in, and he's just like, he's like, okay, it's Sweet Lou Roberts, right? And I'm like, yeah. So we got together, and, man, ever since, man, we've really just hit it off very well. We probably lost contact until more recently. Sound familiar, Kevin?
Yeah, just a little bit. That sounds familiar.
So John has been really running a successful podcast since 2009, Real Side of Wrestling. Rather than me bloviating about it, I want John share with me, tell me a little bit about yourself, and then we're going to talk more about your podcast.
Wow. Tell you about myself. Do you want me to keep it short and sweet?
Nope. I want the long, unabridged version.
Take the long way home, buddy.
There's really not a lot to me. I'm dedicated to my wife. I'm dedicated to my profession. The podcast originally was thought up to be. It was meant to be a joke because when you think of the real side of wrestling, there's nothing real about what the fuck we do. It's crazy.
Except for
Imagine
the injuries.
Right. Which we've seen some pretty sick ones, and I'll touch on that here in a little bit. But when I first come up with it, I just wanted people to come on and have a good time and rib them and just have fun and let the fans see a side of you guys that they don't see when you're in the ring. Because let's face it, even in today's social media networking world, not a lot of fans are in touch with the talent that is around, and I think that's wrong, and there shouldn't be that disconnect, and that's really what my show is all about. It bridges that gap that I know is there. So it slowly became something more serious and evolved from this joke into, I was really starting to bring on like big name guys and big name legends, and we were having like serious conversations, and it just evolved and became what it is now, which is me and Mitch Page and my wife, producer Karen, Andrew Hunter, we got together and we just have a smorgasbord of wrestling knowledge now, and we bring that in. We bring on different guests, and we talk to them for an hour, and then we talk about the news and trends that are going on, and kind of a roundtable panel, and that's where we're at now. So Mitch is a big part of that, though. Without him doing the co-host spot, I probably would not be getting the hits that we're getting, and we're seeing some improvement. Of course, we were off the air for a few years, so and Mitch Page is a big part of that. So I'm very thankful that he agreed to come on board. When I came to him, I was like, man, you'd be a perfect fit. He put some fillers out there and got back to me like a week later and was like, yeah, let's do it. And we brought him on, and it's been great. So I'm really excited to have him, and it adds a whole new element to the show as well. So.
Nice. Is this Mean Mitch Page?
Yeah, Mean Mitch Page.
Ah, that's what I thought. I'm like, okay, cool. And please don't be afraid to name drop. Normally it's kind of poo-pooed on in the wrestling industry when you name drop, but I want you to name drop because, the important thing about this is I want to be able to show people you can be able to live your passions and get it out there. And what you're doing is bridging a gap between the wrestlers and the audience, and I think that's just tremendous.
Right.
So please, by all means, name drop, because so when you started back in 2009, you said you started out as just kind of a joke. So like, who were your guests primarily? How long was your format?
Because just at the time for 2 hours, so when I started, and before I get there, let me tell the story of how I got into podcasting, because that in and of itself is just a great story. A friend of mine called me up and he's like, hey, you need to go listen to the Daniel Bodenoff show. Now, if you don't know who Daniel Bodenoff is, he is a writer for Time Warner Cable. I'm sorry, for not Time Warner. The guy that used to own WC, Ted Turner, Turner Broadcasting.
Gotcha.
He is a writer for some of their Adult Swim. Okay, so where he brings on and he used them. It's a farce, and the guy he had on this, and this cop was talking about he had a girl get kidnapped while he was making drug, but
Hey, John, you're breaking up really bad, man. Unfortunately, I'm catching every other word right now. It's completely frozen now.
I wonder if he can jump on his phone, if he's got the app on that.
Yeah, there's a good possibility we can probably do that live without a net. Yeah, so if anybody's tuning in, please hang in there. John probably will be able to reconnect here one way or another. Yeah, he's completely frozen right now.
Yeah.
Wow. I wish I could be able to continue going on here, but it looks like we're going to have to.
I'm honestly already in awe with this guy, man. I mean, the guy's writing. He's got a buddy that writes for Adult Swim.
Yeah.
Really? That's exciting, man.
Let me see if I can get connected here with him. Looks like... John, if you happen to hear me, buddy, disconnect, and then let's see if we can get you reconnected to that same link. Oh, egg on his face. His computer's frozen. All right, if anybody's watching live, hang in there. We're going to see if we can reconnect them. Rest assured that when you watch this later on, I'll probably end up editing this portion out. So hang in there. Stay with us. We're going to get John back on as soon as his computer works. He says, "1 sec, let me try to connect from my phone."
Yeah, he disconnected. So
Good.
Yeah.
Live without a net, baby.
Hey, man, this is the way it's supposed to be. This is real shit right here.
Hell yeah, dude. And you know, normally people would be like, "Oh my God!
Oh
no!" I'm not sweating it, man. We're gonna get John back on here, and there's a good reason why I brought John on. John has just, he's got a very positive outlook on everything. I mean, seriously, this is a guy that can get straight up kicked in the gut, and he will get back up and tell you what he learned from that. And that's really something that speaks to me and my core values.
That's a hell of a mindset to have.
I'm going to send him another invite and hopefully get him dropped into the conversation again.
So I'm going to share a story with you today.
Fire away, man.
All right. So, I'm out and about all the time, right? Visiting businesses. So I was actually at a business today, never been before. Figured I'd just drop by, say hi, introduce myself. So I walk in the location, talking to the girl behind the counter. She's like, "You know what, buddy? The boss isn't here."
Okay, I'm so sorry about that. Are we good?
Yes, he's back.
He is.
Okay. All right. I'm on my phone now, so we might have a little better connection here. I'm so sorry about that.
A-okay. Dresser, we can go back through and we can just edit out that right there. So anybody that's watching it live, fuck it. That's the way we fucking roll. So, Kevin, we'll double back around to your story. I know that we started, John, you're going to probably have to start from scratch. You were talking a little bit. We heard like every 3 words. Now it seems like you're loud and clear. So.
Okay, good. All right, so basically I called into this podcast. There was a cop on there talking about how he had just made the biggest drug bust of his life. And in the process of making this drug bust, he watched a little girl get kidnapped. And I'm listening to this, and I'm thinking, what fucking cop does this? And I'm just like, I think it's real. I don't catch on that it's a big joke or anything. So, fast forward a little bit, and I call into the show, and then what ensued was good comedy gold. I found out the next day that it was a big farce, and the egg was on my face, and but when I went back and listened to it, it was great, and it turned into it introduced me to Blog Talk Radio, which gave me the idea. I've got all these contacts and I know all these people. Why don't I just put this thing together and see if I can make it work? So that's what I did, and thanks to a guy named Del Bass. And real quick, for the people that are watching that know this guy, this is Del Bass with the BBW, Bad to the Bone Wrestling. No, I love Del. Great guy, but and I credit him with the success at the beginning, because without his contacts with like Bill Dundee and Billy Jack Haynes and J.J. Dillon, just a plethora of Memphis legends and stuff that I was able to get in contact with at the very beginning, wouldn't have happened without Dale. So he was a good blessing. He wound up sponsoring the show for a little over a year. When I went to the website, we parted ways amicably on great terms, and now I'm back on Blog Talk now, and we're slowly building things up with Mitch and Andrew, and of course producer Karen. She is the Mitch is the on the air workhorse. My wife, producer Karen, she is behind the scenes, the workhorse. The show doesn't see air without her. So what it's become now is just amazing with the crew that I've got, and going from having just me and running everything to having a group of people that can help me and really put it out there. It's just amazing, the transition that it's become.
That's tremendous, man, and you're to be commended on that. You ran it for so long on your own. So I haven't had a chance to listen to it since you've gone back to Blog Talk Radio. So how has the transition been for you, going from Blog Talk Radio to your own site and then back to Blog Talk Radio? Has it been good? Has it been a rough transition? Has your following come with you?
It's been rough because we were off the air for like 2 or 3 years from after the website era, and that boiled down to a it turned into a money pit. It seemed like every month I was paying more and more and more, and then the funding ran out. Sponsorship got less and less, and I couldn't afford to do it on my own, so I pulled the plug. And at the time, it was a good decision to make, and it allowed me to into refereeing a little bit more and focusing more on that. And but we had a great run at the beginning. But since we've been back on the air, it's been slow. But over the course of the last couple of months, it's really started to gain some momentum, if you will. Now that we've got all the bricks in place, if you will, we're trying to build it to where we want it, and the transition going from me doing it all on my own to having Karen and having Mitch and having an Andrew Hunter, that's a godsend, honestly, because I don't have to do nearly as much, and it's difficult to try to run one of these things all by yourself. Anybody that doesn't do it, try it. I dare you. I bet you don't make it past your first show without pulling your fucking hair out. So.
Yeah, I got a question for you, man, and it's something that's burning on Kevin's in my mind. We've been running things. Gosh, we're approaching 3 months now, Kevin?
It's going on 3 months, yeah.
Yeah, 3 months, and we're doing it right about twice per week. And one of the issues was something you brought up, which is funding, of course. How did you get sponsorships originally, and is that something that you continue to struggle with today?
We have no sponsorships now. Originally, the sponsorship came with Del Bass and the Kentuckiana Wrestling and Promoters, or Wrestler and Promoters line, KPWA or something like that. I can't remember the specifics, but it's a website that at one time, I don't even know if it still exists, was dedicated to Kentucky workers and promoters and the like. And it was ran by Dale, and he used that as the forefront of the sponsorship. And I would go around to local Kentucky shows and do live feeds at the shows.
Oh, nice.
We would interview their people and do like kayfabe shows, if you will. They would work their angles on the air, and it slowly kind of built from there. And I didn't really like that too much, though. I'll be honest, because it's not what the show was. That was never what the show was about. I never wanted kayfabe to be a part of what we do. And people can argue it's dead, it's alive, it is what it is. But on the real side of wrestling, I want you at this point to just have fun and be real and be yourself. So, that's what we're going for now. So. For the most part, a lot of the people have come. We're doing some contests now. We're going to be having a question from a previous show, and if you answer it correctly, you'll be entered into a drawing, and whoever wins that drawing can be a co-host with Mitch Page on a specific show. So,
brilliant. Brilliant.
We're trying to do some different stuff and really allow our listening base to have a voice and to be a part of what we're doing. So
that's tremendous. So, question for you is: are you still with me?
Yeah, I'm still with you. Sorry, my producers over here reminded me to plug certain stuff on the show, so I'm just.
Yes.
Great.
Yes, please do.
We've actually got a fan show coming up next week where we're going to have some of the workers calling in and talking to the fans. We're going to have fans on the air, and then the workers will call in as the guests and ask the fans certain questions and get the fans' feedback. So I think that's going to be a different format and a different take on what professional wrestling and the direction that certain companies are taking. So I'm really excited about that show because it's not. I don't believe anybody else has tried to do this before. So to allow the fans to really have that much of a voice to like we got DJ Hyde. DJ Hyde's coming on. I Mortal Kombat Zone.
Tremendous. Yes.
He's going to get a chance to talk to his people, his fan base, and find out what they like and dislike about his product, which is something that outside of social media you don't really see a whole lot because the promoters and I'm not knocking them, they don't take that time anymore to listen to their fan base. It's not as cut and dry as it was back in the 80s when I was growing up in the Louisville Gardens watching Jerry Lawler and Bill Dundee. You felt the emotions. It was just a different era. And this is where we're at now. So, I want to give them that platform, and I want to see those companies excel and grow and become closer with their fan base.
Yeah, you got quite a good one right there. And now we're going to have to probably a couple things that we need to kind of maybe clarify. Some of the people that are probably listening to this, they don't realize that workers are another way of saying wrestlers.
Right.
And then you're going to have to share what is kayfabe. You've said it a few times. I know what it is, but you may want to share it with Kevin because Kevin probably has never heard the word kayfabe.
Okay. Kayfabe, the meaning of kayfabe is to protect the business. Okay, there's certain things that you just don't discuss outside of the locker room, in front of the fans, in front of even your family at some point. And back in the golden era, the 70s and 80s, kayfabe was if you broke kayfabe, it was like blackballing yourself. It was a very serious offense. And since the immersion of social media and certain documentaries such as The Untrue Story of Professional Wrestling, and Vince McMahon, and a lot of people blame Vince for this, and it is what it is, Vince McMahon coming out and saying what we do is entertainment, now people know. So there is no real kayfabe. People don't show up at shows anymore to see a bad guy beat up a good guy and then the good guy come back and win. There's just no real connection with the fans and that story anymore. And I think that's sad. But that's where we're at now. But again, a lot of things played a part in that happening. But it all started with the steroid scandal, and then going into I believe it was Jersey, that he went to the athletic commission there and said, "Look, I'm not paying your taxes on this. What we do is entertainment. If you want to tax me under an entertainment license," and pretty much told everybody that what we do is predetermined, etc. So, it just kind of lessened it lessened what the business can do, I think. Of course, I'm not a multi-billionaire, so maybe I'm wrong.
Well, no, I'm sitting here listening to this, and I'm like, I completely agree with you because, I grew up watching Andre the Giant, Iron Sheik, the Ultimate Warrior, Hulk Hogan, all those guys, right? And yeah, you just felt like, I was so drawn into it.
Right.
We watch an episode now, and it's just kind of like, but that's just me. I'm just the average fan, if you will. So.
Yeah, and it's interesting that you put it that way because the WWE is very outspoken about the demographic that they're looking after, that they're going after. They're not going after you and me. They could care less about us. They want our kids. But at the same time, I think what they're failing to understand, and this is my biggest issue with the WWE product right now, is as a father, I'm going to take my child to go see John Cena if that's what my child wants to do. Okay? As a fan, I would like to be catered to as well. And I think that they're spending too much time catering to just one demographic. And that, and again, it shows in their ratings. I know, again, he runs a multi-billion-dollar company, but at the end of the day, the ratings tell the story, and that's why they're bringing in a Shane McMahon now, and that's why the content's going to become a little bit more edgier. That's why they're allowing a Dean Ambrose to be as wild and nuts as he can be. These are things, if you look back over the progress over the last 6 or 7 years, the WWE has not done. So, these are all things that they're trying to do now to cater to you and me, because I think they're finally getting it, that if they cater to us, we're going to spend our money not just on our kids, we're going to spend it on ourselves as well. So,
yeah.
Yeah.
Love it, man. See, this is why I love having John on, man. He rabbit trails just as crazy as us, man.
No, I'm sitting here going, wow, I love it.
So, John, let's take a step back, man. What got you into wrestling, man? How long has it been with you, man? You got to tell me about that.
98. I broke in 1998 under Joe Bailey and Bad to the Bone Wrestling. A young man. Real quickly, I'll show it. I don't know if it'll. Let me see if I can get it right here. That tattoo. And Dale, I know you know what that means.
I know exactly what you're talking about there. J.C. Bailey.
J.C. Bailey. Went to his father at a show here in Louisville, Kentucky. I was running a hotline, and I would go to these local shows and report, who had wrestled who, and talk about, the matches or whatever. And what was so cool about it is I would do it in a 2-minute time span. That's all we had was 2 minutes. And to report on the whole show and plug the next one and all kinds of other stuff. So I got really good at talking fast and getting through it. But I showed up at a BBW show to do this, and they didn't have a referee at all. And all I had done up to this point is like some backyard stuff, some pro-am stuff, and nothing real serious, honestly. It was just a lot of backyard goofball stuff, I called myself the ultimate creation, the woman sensation, and it was goofy shit, like I had blonde hair and I had the Shawn Michaels earrings, and I weighed all of like 60 pounds soaking wet, it was fucking ridiculous, but yeah, so I did that, and JC had taken a liking to me. Mm-hmm. And he would watch me, go out there, and these guys would just take liberties with me, beat the piss out of me or whatever, and I took it, and came back for more, and eventually that led up to this show and them not having a ref, and he went to his dad. He says, John Gray's the ref you need, go get him. And so Joe comes up to me, and John Gray, I ain't gonna referee. I'll pay for your license and give you your money back, and a hot dog and a Coke, and go on back there. Here's a shirt. Thanks, JC. And,
wow, I never heard this from you before. That is awesome. So you essentially got paid to do something that you love to do, right?
Yeah. And from there, I got hooked up with the American Kickboxer and Isaiah, and me and Isaiah were the founding members, along with another guy named Mark Phelps, of what is the Rage Dojo, which has produced, such names as Scotty Vortex, Drake Younger, who is a current WWE referee, myself, Isaiah, Dave Davidson, a lot of Midwest guys, and a couple international names as well, although the names are slipping my mind. But, it was me and Zaya that started that, and wow. From there, I started getting, some local bookings, and then there was a falling out with me and Joe, and then me and Ian had a falling out, and I wound up working for both of their competitions.
Really?
And I was not such a smart person back then. I went to their competition, and things were fine, and I did that for a while, and eventually went back to work for Joe. In 2003, I got a phone call from the Kentucky State Athletic Commission, and they were like, hey, we normally don't get involved in stuff like this, but we've got a bot show in London, Kentucky, and we need a referee down there. And I was like, oh, yeah, well, okay, whatever. Who's it for? And they told me, so I called that promoter, and we agreed on a price. And I drove down, and all I was told was that Ted DiBiase, Buff Bagwell, Greg Valentine, and the Road Warriors, and this was back when Hawk was still living, were going to be in attendance, and they needed a referee for a double shot show that day. And I was like, okay, yeah, sure, whatever. I went to drive down the day before to help them set up, because we had agreed on a price that included that, and made one of the most boneheaded decisions I ever made, but it turned out to be a good thing. I went to a speedway, and I actually pumped $8.50 worth of gas and drove off. And a good Samaritan followed me all around Louisville with his mobile phone, on the phone with the police the whole time. And they followed, he followed me all the way back to my house, whatever. I got arrested. This was on a Friday afternoon in Louisville, Kentucky. And anybody that knows the legal system here, you do not get arrested on a Friday and get out on Friday. It doesn't work that way. Yeah. You're sitting there for a while. I was given no bond, and I pretty much reserved that I was going to miss the show, and I what a stupid thing I did, etc. 4 hours after I walked into the Jefferson County Detention Center, I was walking out of the Jefferson County Detention Center. And to this day, I still don't know how it happened. I really don't, because I was on probation for some other stupid shit, and then I did that on top of it, and I don't know. It was so wild. So some other stuff happened, and I wound up not having a ride. So I called a guy that was already in London. He came back to Louisville and picked me up, drove me down there the next night. And I walked in, and we're doing the pre-show deal, and Ted comes into the locker room, and he wants to pray with us. And at that point in my life, I was not in a place where I wanted to do that. Okay, and Dale, you know me, I'm not going to put on a farce for somebody. I'm not going to do something just to make you happy. So I politely picked up my stuff, and I walked out into the hallway and waited for them to, finish what they were doing. Ted comes up to me right after, and he's like, usually people, at least acknowledge or stay or whatever. And I'm just like, if your whole thing is to talk about God tonight, that's fine. Just leave me out of it. I've got my own problems, and if there is a God, he's up there just having a field day laughing at me right now, and I'm over it. And with that, he turned around and walked away, and the only thing that went through my brain at that moment in time is, fuck, I just blew my one shot at ever making it anywhere in this business.
It was the man, I'm telling you. Yeah, I could feel that way, because I know if I had the opportunity, I would almost feel like, oh, fuck, did I just say that?
So I'd said it, and I felt the way I felt, and I went out, I did the show, and at the end of the first one, he comes out, and it's him and the Road Warriors and Greg Valentine and Buff Bagwell, and he's doing his "I want to buy you" gimmick, and they each one say no, and something had me. I could not physically get out of that ring, and Lord knows I did try. I really did. A kid slid in the ring and went over to where Hawk was sitting, and Hawk just kind of touched the kid, and the kid started like convulsing and having a seizure, and I'm seeing this, and I've got all this other stuff going through my brain, and just an immense amount of stress on me, and I'm watching this kid practically die in front of me, or at least I thought he. I didn't know what was going on with him. It was the first time I'd ever seen a seizure, so I really didn't know. And the whole time this is going on, Ted's just steadily preaching, just about he was a womanizer and a drug abuser and just this and this and this, and I'm just like, wow. So finally I'm able to get out of the ring. Whatever had me let go of me, and I get out of the ring, and I'm halfway to the back, and Ted gives the altar call, and it was just like something just grabbed me and threw me. I mean, you've never seen anybody run so fast, and I was crying and dropped to my knees. I said the sinner's prayer, and I mean, I'm not perfect to this day, but I gave my life to Christ that day, and I get teared up thinking about that time, because a lot of things happened for me when that happened. First of all, I made a friend for life in Ted DiBiase. To this day, if I ever need anything, I call him, and he's there for me. And that's not something that I have with a lot of people. So to have that with him is just an amazing thing. And it put me on a path to become the person that I am now. And even with all the bad things that I've done, and I've done a lot of them, it all brought me to where I'm at today. So I'm very blessed to have done it all. And Ted was through all the ups and downs, and stealing books from Dr. Death, and money from OBW, and just all the stupid things that I did. Ted never once gave up on me. And it's just amazing to have a friend like that in this industry where you meet so many people, but you make very few friends. That's the best I can say on that.
It's truth. It's truth. I heard you've shared this story with me once before, and I was hoping that you would come to it. And I think it's a powerful story that you have become quite the successful person. I know that you say, "Hey, I'm not a billionaire," but I think that there's a touch of modesty on your part. Yeah, you don't need to be a billionaire, but I'm going to tell you this: that every time that you and I have spoken, you are immensely rich in spirit. And some of the things and some of the experiences that you've went through have really helped define and make you a stronger person. And that right there means a lot to me, and especially if someone's looking at trying to live their passion, or even turning their passion into a hobby, their hobby into a business, that they know that, hey, you can fuck up sometimes, but that's not going to ruin you forever. You can dust yourself off and get the fuck back up. Right. And someone like Ted DiBiase, that right there, man, I'm telling you, man, goosebumps right now. I mean, literally, freaking goosebumps. It's awesome. I can't, that's something that just blows me away. So I want to shift gears. Let's go back over to the podcast. We got to talk about some of your best guests. How did you get them? And all right, I know you said everything is okay as far as, nothing's off limits. You got to talk about Harley Race, because Harley Race, a legend, NWA world champion, this motherfucker, like seriously, he is the wrestler's wrestler. I'm telling you this right now. Anybody that takes themselves seriously in the wrestling business will study Harley Race. And Harley Race is the man. But I know that some time ago you were like, oh, dude, I got to tell you about the story about Harley Race. First, you got to listen to this podcast and then get back to me. So talk about how you got Harley Race on the show, and what was the experience you had?
Oh, God. So I was watching late night TV one night, and they ran this ad, and I don't even know why it was running here. I'd never seen it before, and I don't think I've seen it since, but it was for the Harley Race School of Wrestling, and it had his number on there, and I was like, fuck it, I'm about to start this podcast up. I might as well give him a call and see if I can land him, All you do is say no, So I call him up, and he's like, yeah, I'll do it. I'm like, all right, is anything off limits? He's like, no, we'll talk about whatever you want to talk about. I'm like, okay, well, and I gave him a heads up. I'm like, well, we want to talk about the U.S. Was it the U.S. title tournament? Wasn't he the first ever United States champion, or was it Yeah, I wanted to talk about that. And he was like, yeah, I can talk. I remember that real well. I'm like, all right, cool. And I wanted to talk about the untruths or untold story of pro wrestling, or whatever that deal was that he was the blacked out face in back in the, what was it, the late 90s that came out?
Late 90s, yeah. It was. I actually remember watching it on VHS, if I can recall.
Yeah, I actually watched it on NBC the night it aired. So I mean, it was just weird. But he was like the shadow guest or whatever that was giving away a lot of the secrets and stuff. It's a stunt granny or whatever it was they called that old woman in the crowd. It was this goofy shit. And I was like, yeah, we'd like to talk about that. And how you go? Yeah, that's fine, kid, no problem. All right, cool. And so fast forward to show day, and I had to rearrange my schedule and set it up to where he could call in, because at the time we didn't have the call out feature, so we couldn't call our guests. That was a paid feature, always a paid feature. They gave us 2 hours of airtime, but they wouldn't let me call nobody without paying for it. So, fuck. Come show day, it's me and the guy that was co-hosting with me at the time, a young man named Sebastian Eros, and we're waiting and we're just trying to kill time, and I mean it's just death on air, and minutes are passing and he's not calling. So finally I look at Sebastian, I'm like, I'm gonna call him. Keep talking. I don't care what you talk about, just keep talking. So like Sebastian's just doing the best he can, which is not very good at all, and I'm calling Harley, and he's not answering, and I call again, and he answers, and I'm like, you're supposed to call. He's like, no, I thought you were going to call me, and I'm like, no. And I gave you the call-in number. He's like, oh, okay. So he's like, give me a minute, I'll call you, and I'm like, all right. So, I come back, and I'm like, okay, I got him on the phone. He'll be calling us in just a minute. I'm so sorry about this, people, whatever. So Harley calls in, and what ensues after that is kayfabe to the extreme.
He completely just sells you on wrestling being absolutely 100% honest, real. So is essentially what you're saying.
Yeah. Didn't remember who he had beaten in the U.S. title tournament. We couldn't find it. So we both look like idiots there, and then he's like, oh, I never did that TV show. I don't know what you're talking about. And I'm like, it's on your Wikipedia page. I mean, it says right here that you did this TV show. I'm like, no, I never did that shit. I blah blah blah. And fuck. So it's like 45 minutes of just the worst interview ever. And if you ever have a chance to listen to it, go check it out. It's the second show that we ever did. You got to go way back in the archives, back to 2009. August. It was the second of August, whatever that was. I think we did it on a Tuesday. So whatever that August was in 2009. There you go. Go look it up and listen to it. That was just 90 minutes of hell on air.
Yeah, that's over at blogtalkradio.com/realside media. So if anybody gets a chance, you're watching this or you're listening to our show, go to blogtalkradio.com/realside media. And he's got an immense catalog of people on there. And you actually will find me. When did I interview with you? About what?
Now I'm not sure. I'm not sure if you were through the website years or if you were through the Blog Talk years.
It was now, in the website years. Now I think about it.
We are working on trying to find that data.
Okay.
I've contacted the guy that was producing the show at the time, and we've kind of talked about some things, and he's supposed to be seeing if it's on a certain server and getting back with me. So I've tried not to hound him about it. It is what it is. I'm not going to pay him for the product. It's mine. I own it. So I just need it. But so I'm not going to hound him about it or what have you. But I would definitely like to get it back. And there's some on iTunes from that point, but I'm not sure if yours is one of them or not. My good buddy Nick Manawa is putting up everything, the stuff that's on iTunes that covers a little bit of the website time, and all of the stuff up to what we're doing recently is all going up on this cloud for what he has, and just a great thing going there. And I'll have more information about that on the Real Side Facebook page for y'all that want to check that out. It's facebook.com/realside Realside Wrestling, I think. It's either Real Side Wrestling or Real Side Media. I can't remember which one on the Facebook. But yeah, check it out. We'll definitely be plugging that in the very near future. So
it certainly
amazing.
seems that you even though you took the very brief hiatus, running a podcast ain't for fucking pussies, right?
No, it's a lot of work, and my poor wife's crashed out over here next to me. She works her ass off at a regular job, and she communicates with Andrew and with me and Mitch Page, and coordinates the guests and coordinates the news stories, and Again, she takes a brunt of the workload from me, to where pretty much all I have to think about is what are we going to discuss with these people when they come on, and how are we going to introduce the format, etc. So it really simplifies what I have to do, and again, without her, I don't know how well we would be doing, and she's actually about to get promoted at her job at we both work at the same place, but she's getting promoted hopefully, and I'm so scared that I'll be losing her, so because she's such an important part of the show, but I know that if that happens, it's definitely for the betterment of what we're trying to build, and we'll definitely make it with we'll keep persevering and growing, and she'll never be fully gone from the show. She just won't be a force on the air, which we can definitely work around that in the long run if we absolutely have to. But she's just amazing, and again, without her and Mitch and Andrew, this show it isn't what it is. All I do is show up every week, pretty much. They do the work.
Show up and look pretty, right? You got to have a certain sense of flexibility then when you're doing a business like this. Then.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. I tell the people that I bring on my show, if you have any questions or there's anything you need to you don't want to talk about and you're not thinking of it right now, send me a Facebook message, send me a text, whatever. We're here to make you comfortable and to allow you to tell your story your way, and I think that's important, that the fans get to hear it that way as well. So you've got to have open communication with your people. I don't know if my phone just vibrated there, so if it did, I'm sorry. I got an email, so I don't know. Sorry about that.
Hey, okay, that's one of the best things about running live. So you shared the Harley race story, man. I know you've got more stories, man. Some shit.
Oh my God, I gotta talk about Billy Jack Haynes, this fucking guy. Oh my God, Billy Jack Haynes, this fucking moron. Comes on, I call him. Oh my God. So, one of the greatest shows I ever ran, and I say this because I got this guy to talk about everything from his uncle raping him to Vince McMahon killing Chris. You've got to go listen to it. Oh my fucking God, it's horrible. It's amazing. And like the first 20 minutes of the show, we find out that his uncle has raped him as a child, and that is why he is. Oh yeah, I had nothing to go on after that. That was everything in the first. I was like, wow, what the fuck. If it had not been for the gimmick collars that I had, I don't think I could have filled 2 hours. Like, seriously. But Sensei was listening, Kickboxer was listening, and he just had a fucking field day with Billy Jack Haynes. I mean, you need to take ownership, and, you made these decisions. Quit blaming Vince McMahon for your fucking problems, and, you're just a dopehead. And, I mean, he just laid into him. And, I mean, Billy Jack Haynes was... Wow, you got to go listen to the interview. But yeah, he talks about how Vince McMahon killed Chris Benoit because Nancy's child was Vince's love child. He talks about
that's a wow. How did that get connected?
Bro, it's been so long ago that I don't remember. And I tell you what. When we finish here, I'll actually go and I'll post the show up on your page, Lou, so that you can check it out. Because oh my God, it's 2 hours of a train wreck that you just cannot turn away from. I mean, it's like you're sitting on the edge of your seat going, what the fuck is he gonna say next?
Dude, that is tremendous. Yeah, so please put that link, and if you get that link too, I'm gonna see about putting into the YouTube, and hopefully wherever Kevin shares it, it should go along with it, so everybody can really appreciate that. So
yeah. If you want 2 hours of laughter, go listen to that show. It was crazy. Wow, yeah. Just amazing. But and I tell you, a big part of the success back in the day. Mm-hmm. Were the gimmick callers that I had, because without them coming on and fucking with my guests, we had no comedy. The problem was that they would call it the worst times. Like Brian Logan, I had Brian Logan on one time, and he's a local guy from the Midwest or the Virginias and stuff of that nature. And he's talking about how, you know, he was struggling with the passing of his father. And I looked down and I've got a call, and at first I did not realize that it was one of my gimmick callers until after the fact. And I'm just like, fuck. And it just threw off the whole, I mean, it was just this whole emotional story, and then all of a sudden this guy, this Jewish pawn shop owner comes on and talks about, you know, selling original Xboxes, you know, for $400 at his pawn shop. You know, you've got to pick your spot better, guy. Come on. You can't do everything here. So, you know, like, it's just stupid shit like that, you know, that you got to try to, you know, control and you know, pick and choose, and, you know, it's a whole new element to the show, if you know what I mean.
Yeah. Now, when you were talking about gimmick callers, is this something that like was pre-planned, or is this just okay? So it was something pre-planned, but dude called in at the wrong time. Like you're like no.
Right. Well, the deal is, you know, like I would tell them, you know, call in whenever you want. You know, just listen to the show, and whenever you pick your spot, you know, make sure it's pertinent to what we're doing. If you're going to do the pawn shop gimmick, you know, work it into whatever it is we're discussing at the time. But there's just nothing that you can do with, you know, losing a loved one and then going to a Jewish pawn shop owner. I mean, there's and I felt so bad for him, you know, like I really did. And by the time we got past the skit, I had already forgotten what we were talking about, so I went to something else. So, you know, it was just.
So wow. It was a slight blessing. It was like, it was awkward. You're like, oh no, well, too late.
Yeah. So, you know, and then of course you've always got those guys out there that, you know, you don't tell them that it's a rib, because if you do, they're going to get even madder. So.
Oh man, yeah. You know, that's the thing, is I was always told when it comes to ribs, and once again we're doing some wrestling insider terms, ribs are practical jokes. You know, just a way of just joking with somebody. You know, I was always told, you know, you get ribbed, don't sell it, because they'll rib you more.
Yes, they will.
Yeah, there was times where I get ribbed, and I'd just be like, okay. I just go about my business. Screw it.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. You just got to keep going, you know. I'm trying to think of a good rib somebody played. Oh, I got a good one. I'll share a funny rib story, because it turned out that I wound up ribbing Isaiah with it. So I was working for this company in Kentucky. Can't remember the name of it now, but Jimmy Walls ran it, Rated X, guy named Rated X. And I went down to, where the fuck were we? Liberty, Kentucky, I think is where we were, East Liberty. This little bitty hole in the wall town, I mean, at the community center. And these people believed in Santa Claus, let me tell you. It was amazing. You talk about kayfabe being alive and well. It was alive and well in that town. I mean, they loved their babies and hated their heels. And
I love those towns, dude. Those were my favorite. You could put a headline on it, and the place goes nuts.
Yes, and the crowd was so full of just like older people and you know, younger. I mean, it was just a smorgasbord of a demographic, you know, from little children all the way up to the elderly, and you know, just the feel of that town was just amazing. But I've been going there for quite some time, and a few of the guys down there, Jack Black and Vito Andretti, and some other guys that of Ohio Valley fame. For those of you that watch Ohio Valley Wrestling, or used to anyways, you might know those names. They would give me. I have a real bad shoulder, and it's constantly hurting me. So you know, like at the time, I would, you know, ask the boys, you know, do y'all have any like Tylenol or any kind of muscle relaxers? I never did like serious pills. I never took like Lortabs or anything like that. I was never one of those guys. But I would ask for like, you know, muscle relaxers or whatever, just to relieve the tension in my shoulder. And this guy named Mickey he always would give me like 2 or 3 of them. And he didn't know that I knew but I figured it out after the first time that they weren't really muscle relaxers. So I kept the joke going though. I would keep going to him and asking him, let me get some more of the muscle relaxers, and I would pass them out to whoever was riding with him that night. So it come back to Isaiah was riding with them one night, and he had taken a nasty bump in the ring and wanted one, and I had never really ribbed Zaya, so I thought this was a good opportunity, and I was like, yeah, here, whatever, and I gave them to him, and he was on his way back, and had just taken 2 of them and was about to take 2 more. And Mickey saw it and was like, where'd you get those? And as soon as he said my name, he was like, no, don't take them. And so I got Zaya pretty good with that. And then they realized that I was hip to game, and they no longer ribbed me with that. So, but yeah, that was a fun one. So yeah.
That does seem those. It was funny. I probably ran with a completely different circle. Well, actually, I know I ran with a completely. That was something you and I kind of talked about. It was like we had different circles, and my guys were twisted sometimes. I mean, there was some stuff where I was like, oh, damn, that's fucked up. I would just have to walk away. I remember
hearing Dave Chris tell a story on my show one time, and I don't know if this was the website or on the Blog Talk days, but he told a story about putting shit underneath Brandon Toll's, fuck you, Brandon Toll, by the way, you fucking name-dropping cutbag. Okay? It is what it is. Don't. Oh, God damn. Oh, but he put. I think it was. I don't remember if it was human shit or dog shit, but it was shit. Period. Underneath his doornail or doorknob on his car, he had one of the latch doorknobs, and I want to say under the front seat in his car, and it was the middle of winter, so he had to kick the heat on. And you know what happens when you kick the heat on around some poo in your car. If you don't, well, yeah.
Don't try it. Don't try it at home.
yeah. Don't try that at home. Yeah, I remember that. But yeah, fuck you, Brandon Toe, you fucking pussy. God, I fucking hate that guy. I don't dislike a lot of people, but don't call me and pretend to be my friend and try to get information from me and then say, oh, I'm going to get you booked up here, and then never fucking call me again, you shit fucking cock-sucking bastard.
Kevin, I think we just hit an all-time high for most curse words said in the span of 5 minutes, man.
Oh, in a span of 5 seconds. What are you talking about?
5 seconds, yes. John Gray, you just hit a new record for us, man. That's so awesome, man. Dude, you've shined some light on some really awesome things. And some people, hopefully, they're not just sitting there going, well, that's just wrestling, okay? I want everybody to kind of understand, where did John come from? What were some of the struggles that he was doing? What were some of the the things that he was having to deal with? But at the same time, what were some of the passions, some of the things he was able to realize and have some fun? And that's not necessarily talking about stories about shitting on doorknobs or people that screw you over, but in the same instance, it's about your triumphs as well as your tragedies, and really trying to make the most of it. So. As we start to get ready to wrap things up, John, something that has spoke volumes to me is, and I said this when you fell off the call, and I have no fear in saying it to you, right now, is dude, you can get kicked in the stomach, but I swear to God, every single time that you've been kicked in the stomach, knocked down, beat up, every single time you get back up, you have this positive attitude. Why?
A lot of it, I'll be honest with you, a lot of it is show. On the inside, I'm dying, and I try to give that aura, and more, as I get older, it breaks me down, and a lot of it, I put on myself, and I fully admit that. Because I'm my own worst critic, and I take the smallest thing that I may do wrong or that I may screw up, and I'm not necessarily talking in wrestling, but in life in general, and it just eats at me, and it eats at me, and it eats at me. But on the outside, I'm trying to not allow people to know what I'm really feeling, and I think a lot of times we as men do that, just because I think we're conditioned to do that. But it's not easy to to put on that face and be positive. But at the end of the day, what doesn't kill me only makes me stronger. And with the support group that I have in my life, there is absolutely nothing that I cannot overcome. And my wife is my biggest bully, and I love her for it. From helping me to, be a better father to my teenage son, to becoming the husband that I'm becoming, to the podcast, to refereeing, to just every aspect of my life. She pushes me to be better at it, and without her, I wouldn't be. I would still be living in somebody's bedroom with all my lights off and playing my video games and probably working at a call center, miserable as hell. But instead, I have a job that I love. I have a hobby that I'm very passionate about. I have the podcast. I have a great wife and a wonderful family, and I really don't have any anything to be negative about, honestly. Right now, all the positivity is definitely genuine, but there are definitely times that it eats at me and it eats at me and it eats at me, and I think just as being a man, that is oftentimes the hardest thing to overcome is understanding that it's okay to break down sometimes, and it's okay to seek help, and it's okay to turn to your friends and have them help pick you up, and those are all things that I don't do enough of.
Sure.
I think you say something that really means the world to me, because what happens is what defines you versus somebody else is as action, despite a lot of some of the things that you consider your inadequacies or sometimes your negativity that's kind of eating you up inside. You still take action. You still move forward, and I think that right there is your support system. Kudos, awesome. I'm glad you have people like Mitch and like your wife, and keep those people within you. That inner circle will empower and lift you every single time. So that is really cool. And to wrap up the show here, what is the best way people can get in touch with you? And, of course, man, make all your plugs now, because we need to know where we're going to see Real Side of Wrestling. Where is Real Side of Wrestling going in the next year?
Oh, God. We're going to look into some different things. We're kicking around doing a YouTube thing. We're kicking around doing some different ideas. We definitely want to get it out there. And I understand that there is some stuff on YouTube already that I did not put up. But I'm not sure what it is, but somebody has put up some of my stuff, so that's a cool thing, I think.
Nice.
Thanks, whoever did that. So we're looking into that avenue, and we're hoping to just keep growing and keep the momentum going. And we've had some really great guests so far. We've got some really great guests upcoming, and some really great ideas for what we want the show to become. So hopefully within the next year, you'll see more and more people maybe wearing some Real Side Media T-shirts. That's an idea. Maybe see a little bit more business cards out there and stuff. So it's a slow-moving process to get us where we really want to be, and eventually we hope to get there.
Wonderful, nice. Very good. And of course, people can go see your show at blogtalkradio.com/Real Side Media. We've got the link to that in the description below. So make sure you guys go take some time, click on that link, go over and click the follow on Real Side Media, and catch up with some of his episodes. I'm telling you, quite a few of them are great. I love hearing John talk. Guy cracks. Dude, you're a natural fucking comedian. You don't even have to make a joke. He's cracking up laughing.
I don't know about all that, but my wife gets a lot of time laughing at me, so I guess I got that going for me.
Yeah, for sure. Well, any last words before we disconnect today?
No, thanks for having me. I appreciate it. If you want to follow me on Twitter, I think it's Referee John R. Gray or Referee John Gray, something of that nature. I'm just now getting connected back up on Twitter. You can find us on Facebook at facebook.com/Real Side Wrestling, and I don't add people I don't know on Facebook anymore because I kind of like to keep my circle small. But you can definitely come and follow my page if you so choose. But I'm probably not going to add you unless I know you. That's just the way it is.
Understandable, yeah, for sure,
Yeah.
for sure. Yeah, you don't need a bunch of creepers in on there, but
Yeah.
follow feature. That's one of the huge reasons why I put follow on mine, because I do have a lot of people that follow me, and I'm not going to add any Tom, Dick, or Harry. Sorry, there's some stuff I'd like to kind of keep private. So really, really cool, John. Thank you. I really appreciate your time. And Kevin, do you have any last words before we disconnect?
No, the only thing, man, I love your story. Thank you for sharing it with me. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay. Thanks for sharing with us, man, because honestly, just sitting here listening, you've got all the elements that we look for, right? Perseverance, action, your inner circle, you're taking steps no matter how small they are, you're taking them. Dude, that's awesome, and I commend you, and, just thank you for coming on. You made my day today. You made my day.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate that. Y'all been great. Dale, we've got to catch up again, and I'll definitely be touching base with you, Kevin, in the very, very near future.
Absolutely. I look forward to it.
All right, thank you very much for tuning in today, folks. Remember, stick around for our commercials right after the show. Take care.
Nighty-night.
Just a reminder, you can support the show by simply shopping at Amazon through the link in the show description. Every time you make a purchase through the provided link, a small percentage of sales goes back to support our show and cover overhead costs. And there's no additional cost to you, and it greatly helps us out. Simply go to the link, bookmark it in your browser, and do your shopping on Amazon at no extra cost to you while you support your two favorite podcast personalities, Bootstrap Businessmen.
Absolutely, Dale. And also, everybody, just as a reminder, you can follow us at Stitcher.com. Just type in Bootstrap Businessmen. It's going to, pull up all of our shows and episodes so you can listen to us there. Go to SoundCloud.com. Type in Bootstrap Businessmen. iTunes.com. And type in Bootstrap Businessmen. And you can follow us. You can download the podcast on your phone if you have an iPhone. Stitcher and SoundCloud both have an app that you can put on your phone so you never miss an episode.